Welcome everyone to the fourth episode of the Boss Key podcast. It is
Welcome.
it is a heartwarming, a delightful, a joyous morning today. We're normally recording later than normal, but today is an early day for us. There's just so much that we wanted to talk about this week in terms
Yes.
of two very specific, big games coming out. That's with Metroid and Halo Infinite. But welcome, Jesse. Say hello
What?
if you haven't already.
No, I have not, good sir. I haven't yet. Hey, everybody. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's having a great morning or evening or whatever time you're listening to this podcast at. Welcome again to another episode of the Boss Key podcast. So, as mentioned before, Halo, Metroid, two games coming in very soon. That's right. We're going space theme.
A very huge space theme this week, which I'm very excited. I think I'm excited for both games equally.
Yep,
Um,
most definitely. Both games are getting a lot of love, a lot of attention on all the convention fronts of online convention fronts. But they're getting a lot of attention right now, trailer wise.
yes, but before we start, Jesse, what's on your game list? What have you been playing right now?
Well, every single day of the week, I always throw in some Quake. I'm still playing that Quake remastered. I'm trying to complete all the expansion passes that are all the expansions that are part of it. So it is always on, even in intermittent little sprinkles. But over the weekend on Friday and Saturday, I did end up adding some Master Chief collection in there.
Oh,
I went back to the old Halo wagon again, and my goodness, it is still as good as ever. But right now in PC world, I've been loving it. Honestly, I did not have an original Xbox back then, so I've been playing. I played it on the PC back then too when it first came out for it as well. But Master Chief Collection gonna beat Halo One again as usual, and the memories are flooding back.
are you playing any of the multiplayer or just campaign right now?
No, so far I've just been campaigning. I haven't jumped into multiplayer just yet. Even though I have more memories with multiplayer as of right now, I still wanted to get through the campaigns at least. I'm gonna try to go through Halo 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't have 5 because I gave my Xbox One to my nephew, so I'm gonna have to go over to his house and play that one. Or get my Xbox back, or do something like that.
Okay.
But
No
that's
Reach?
how I've been playing so far. I will play Reach. I'm gonna be honest. I know you're gonna say this is like blasphemy, but I have not played Reach.
Yeah, that's blasphemy.
That is, I haven't played it. I switched to Gears of War by that time. I think I stayed mostly on Gears. But I don't know why Reach eluded me. I don't know why it did. And I know it's like considered the best multiplayer, at least from your opinion. I think from when you said before. So I don't know how it missed. It's like a shoot and a miss. I don't know why it didn't jump into my categories, but I didn't play it yet. So guess what? I gotta add on to the list. Gotta play Reach.
Well, Reach is my favorite multiplayer. I do know I do see why people don't like it as much, just because of the armor, um, customizations, like the powers, the armor lock and the jetpack, invisibility, stuff like that. But for me, Reach was the better multiplayer. It's what I spent the most time on for Halo. So and then the story, the campaign was really good for me. I like the story of Noble Team and the obvious struggle that they had before their, I guess, defeat. But Halo Reach has a lot of memories for me. That's the one that I spent the most on for it. So I'm happy to hear that you're playing through all of them at least, or like the mainline story, just to get hyped up for Halo Infinite.
Yes, I gotta get back into it again. Halo One, the one I have the most memory with is Halo Three. Halo Three is the one that cemented me on my 360 at the time.
Mm.
I have a lot of memories with Halo One for multiplayer, purposes. But again, I had it for the PC, and right now, at least for as a PC gamer, mouse and keyboard with Halo is fantastic. Which is I've switched to a lot of my first-person shooters to mouse and keyboard as a preference. But on the Xbox controller, it still runs perfectly. I could still switch to it if needed, if need be.
Okay, okay. Well, currently, I'm always dabbling in so many different games. I went back
It's hard to
to
stay on focus. It
it.
is. It's hard.
Yeah, and I was playing some Chrono Trigger again, and that RPG, that JRPG is so amazing. The music, the characters, the combat, the art style, everything. I can keep going on and on, but Chrono Trigger definitely be a must play game for any RPG fan. It's just amazing and timeless. But the one that I did dabble on this week was because of you, and your recommendation is Quake. I did try a little bit of Quake on Xbox through the Game Pass.
Ooh, how did you like it?
It's pretty good. Um, I feel like it's I don't know if this is blasphemy to say also, but I feel like it's a more refined um, Doom in a way. There's different, I guess, level of detail in the level and game, and in terms of what you can actually do. I was really surprised I can look up for a Doom type game looking like that. I'm so used to Doom, the guy could be, on the second story, and I just still point straight and shoot, and it shoots him. But in this one, I'm actually able to, aim up. So that was a little, I guess change in gameplay that I was like, whoa, that's a small tweak that goes far, in my opinion. It's a bit faster that from what I've noticed, and a lot more enemies in the
Yes.
level design, which I like. So I only played maybe like the first level, and from that first level, it's already a huge difference from what I saw where Doom was. I don't know the year span difference in between Doom and Quake, but it's noticeable that they learned from, I guess, the structure on how to make that game level design, if that makes sense. So I'm liking Quake. I really like it. For those people that love physical editions, Limited Run Games is making a physical copy that's available right now. August 29th of this recording, it's still available, and they typically go for about 4 weeks. So if you're interested in a physical copy of Quake for Switch or PlayStation, definitely go get that one while their pre-orders are still active. Unfortunately, it's not available for Xbox, which I think is something that they need to fix. Because I
Yes.
know a lot of Xbox players still want a physical copy, especially on a first-party title, Quake. So for me, Quake, I'll still be playing it. I'm gonna continue playing it through. I've beaten other, the Doom games, but this one, I think I'm gonna sit down and just try to, blast through and see what the rest of the game has. But I'm enjoying it. I'm a new fan.
Oh, that makes me so happy to hear. That is so good. And you are right. This game is a lot more refined than Doom was. Doom, I believe, was released in 1993, and Quake was released in 96. So there was some changes between the two. It's the same, almost same exact team that did it. So obviously, they took a lot from what they learned in Doom and worked it into the Quake engine to what they made there. So, oh my goodness, yes. If you're comparing it to old school Doom, Ultimate Doom, and Doom 2, yeah, it's different parallels in world. Like everything is now 3D, mostly 3D polygon. You can jump, you can aim around,
Yes. Yeah.
but you can jump and move around. You're not stiff. There's running. There's a lot of features in Quake that are better. Oh, I cannot wait for you to continue on. And you're gonna find some enemies, and you're gonna tell me later which ones were the most pain in the butt. You're gonna find some pain in the butt enemies that are just gonna they're gonna annoy you, but they're gonna annoy you, but you're gonna get such satisfaction destroying that. You're going through it, and it is. And I'm gonna tell you one thing. Thank goodness you're playing the remastered version because right now you have a mouse look. Back then, it was more like Quake. You actually had to hold another key to be able to look around. So this version, you lucked out. You actually can you get mouse look from the get go,
I
or
bet
you get look from the get go. But on the PC, you actually had to hold a key and then move your direction.
I bet that was still revolutionary though at the time. There, you guys were probably like, "Oh my god, this! I just hold this button and I can look, anywhere." I'm pretty sure that was revolution at the time.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, this one seems very modernized. If they were able to do anything or tweak anything with Quake, which I usually like when somebody when developers remaster or remake a game, or more remastering a game, don't really touch anything about the game except for maybe make the gameplay more modern. If a game had a specific control scheme where to aim was to click the R3 button or something like that, make the remaster where you actually use the left trigger to aim and the right trigger to shoot, something like that. And you telling me
nice.
this, I prefer it where I it's free aim as opposed to I have to press A and then look around. That would have probably been weird, but I like that addition. I like the I didn't know about that you know you had to click another button, another
Back in
key.
the days, man. Back in the days. What difficulty did you start off?
Normal. I just go with the
Nice,
normal setting. If I
sweet.
want anything more challenging, I up the challenge. But I typically go through like that in like every game that I try. I go normal first, unless I hear reports. If I hear reports like, "Hey, this game is too easy. You need to put it on hard to enjoy the combat," I'll do that.
Awesome. That is perfect. And then maybe after you beat it one time, maybe you'll switch over to hard, and then the final one is the nightmare difficulty, which is not even like on the select screen. You actually have to find it in the area. You can't just pick it from out of the blue. You have to find out how to find nightmare. That's how hard it is.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that
And
that addition to the game.
yeah, it's a nice touch. And I'll leave you this with Quake. I'm gonna give you an enemy you're gonna hate later. Be careful of the shambler. You'll know a shambler when you see one. It's a big, gigantic teddy bear looking dude, all white, shoots lightning. Woo! Oh man, when you see him, you're gonna go nuts. It's gonna be crazy. And then when you start seeing multiples, you're gonna be like, ugh. It's good. But I can't wait for you to get to that level. I hope. I hope it gets to there.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
Nice. I love it. Yes, new Quake fan. Done. Thank you. It's software. Thank me, please. Yeah, I introduced more people. Bethesda, I'm here. I'm here all day.
Now, a game that I've always been a fan of since day one, since I first played it, was Metroid, the Metroid series. And did
Samus.
you see the new trailer that they just released?
Yes, I did. The new trailer last Friday was released, right?
Yeah, this past Friday. They
Mhm.
they showed off. I guess from what I gathered, a lot of people did not like the trailer, only because it had potential spoilers in it. But in my eyes, Metroid hasn't really been about like the bosses in terms of like being seen ahead of time. It's more
Mm.
of the experience. It's more of knowing, what's gonna happen in that specific time of playing the game. So the development of Metroid first started off with something similar akin to Aliens. If you know the history of Metroid, the game designers, the directors, they wanted something that resonated with that film. That's why the main enemy, or one of the main enemies, uh, Ridley, is from Ridley Scott. You know that.
Ooh, I did not. I could have sworn I thought there'd be like a resemblance, but now you just confirmed it.
Yeah, that's why there's
Nice.
a female protagonist, Aliens, and also in Metroid. So there's a lot of similarities between the two. But when you see a trailer for Aliens, you're not like kind of bummed like, oh, I saw the alien. It's not scary anymore. No, because when you watch the movie, that you don't know when it's gonna pop out. You don't know what's gonna happen. Who's gonna get the shank? Who's gonna die in a miserable acid bath? Whatever it may be. And I think I think Metroid is similar in that vein, where I saw the trailer. And if you guys don't want to hear anything about this, you guys can skip maybe 5 minutes ahead, 6 minutes. But it shows a Chozo, what I think is a Chozo like general or someone higher up in the Chozo uh, infrastructure. Chozos are, I guess, an ancient race from long ago, and it's kind of detailed or kind of rumored that Samus was raised, or her armor is from Chozo machinery and stuff like that. So there's a lot of tie-ins to to that race, but that normally doesn't get mentioned in the 2D Metroids. It's really have been the Metroid Prime games that showed that. And in the 2D Metroid, I think it was Zero Mission that had a lot of the Chozo lore. But this one, it shows, I guess, it looks like some dude just mad. A Chozo general that's mad and
Yeah, like some
is
Dark Warrior looking dude.
yeah, and it just
Hmm.
looks so menacing, so good, and they show some new armor sets for Samus. Uh, it just looks too good. I don't know what they're doing, but their marketing is on point with this one, and I just want Metroid to see the success that it should get, and I think that on Switch, it's just gonna get that. It's just gonna get crazy sales, and people are gonna be like, "What is this Metroid? What is this game? I've never heard of it," and actually be a fan like I was a fan of now Quake. I think this is gonna open a lot of doors to new people. What do you think?
I agree with that. Like, I'll be honest. In the past, one of my first, I never had any of the I didn't have the Super Nintendo game, which was at the time. Super Metroid was the most popular one. Um, but I first heard about Samus, no lie, in Smash Brothers, which is probably how a lot of people outside of the Metroid series line, or sometimes outside of the gaming community, like Smash Brothers is usually the first place where you see Samus. You see this character with a huge charging beam and the grapple hook that was the throw. It's one of Samus is one of those underrated characters that just somehow like kind of swept under the radar. Not as big as Mario or Zelda, but Metroid is a huge franchise. Seeing from videos and how many games they've made and some of the fanfares from YouTube videos that I've seen just didn't get enough exposure compared to the other ones. Now, I'll change that. Prime probably made that a lot bigger when it was first brought to the GameCube in the 3D world.
Yeah.
It was brought in more into the 3D world, which everything was going 3D, Nintendo 64 and up. But a lot of the Metroid games, the biggest impact that Metroid had was creating the style of Metroidvania, which is one of my favorite styles of like Castlevania, which they took the style from Metroid games, started all the way from Metroid 1, where they had the style of you go around levels everywhere without like, hey, you completed the level, or hey, you completed this. It's the whole game is the level. Like the whole game is the level.
Yeah.
So then when they brought that into what's now known as Castlevania Symphony of the Night, that was the first Metroidvania game, and it was huge. It was loved at that point. And I got more into Metroid after watching. We've mentioned him in the video before of Some Call Me Johnny. That's how I got into it more because he is a huge Metroid fan, and he's loved it again since the beginning. But his first play was the Super Metroid. It wasn't Metroid One. I played Metroid One on the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Switch version. Man, that game's hard. You got to really dedicate for that one. But I played Super Metroid on the Super Nintendo on my Switch. My goodness, I was hooked for a while. That was very good. All the mechanics. I learned how to wall jump on one wall. I learned how to do the game breaking mechanics. It was a little iffy to learn at first, but it was so well crafted. And if I had this game as a kid, I bet you I would have been playing way longer than I should have. It was one of those. And I didn't play any of the GameCube ones. I never owned a GameCube, but I've seen so many videos about all the games. And now with the return of another 2D, because Fusion and Super Metroid, those are beloved games, and Zero Mission, which they say is now the definitive version of playing. They say it's the definitive version of playing the first Metroid game. So if you want to play the first Metroid, play Zero Mission. Or if you wanna be the real Metroid purist, play the first game on the Nintendo if you want. But that one's gonna be rough. But Metroid, but Zero Mission is a definitive version to play that one. And if I'm correct, they even added extra missions at the end of Zero Mission to give Metroid One more games. Is that right?
Yeah, more content, more I guess background story of the
Yeah.
Chozos. So yeah,
You
you're
you
right.
you learn more about the Chozo artifacts and why they're important. They probably give Samus the ability to turn to the ball, doesn't it? The armor. It's a Chozo thing, right?
Yeah.
Because like I feel like if she gets turned into a ball, if she doesn't have some kind of special thing, I felt like she's getting squished in. Or like, does she turn into energy when she's into that armor? Or I don't know. Uh, but right now with the announcement, and then of course Samus Returns, the remake of Metroid 2, was also a huge jump in the Metroid world. So now with Dread coming out, it's 2D Metroid is again a retro gamer's dream, and it's something that everyone's getting ready to play.
What I love about the Metroid games too is that and this goes hand in hand with the genre that you also discussed about Metroidvanias is that you finish the game, but you can just say, "Yeah, I finished the game. I've completed it. I beat it." But what a lot of people love about those type of games is going back, New Game Plus, going back to where, hey, let me try to beat this faster. Let me see if I can. I beat Metroid Fusion within 8 hours. Let me see if I can do it in five. Let me see if I can do
Nice.
it in four. Let me see if I can, I don't know, get 100% on all the items and get
There you
different
go.
endings. That's what I loved about the Metroid games is that they had different endings depending on how much you completed of the game and how fast you did it. To get the end cutscene of just her in a bikini. Oh, I know it's just a bikini, but that was like a, I guess, a badge of honor for a lot of people. Like, okay, I got this type of ending, or I got the ending where she took off her helmet. Stuff like that, which also goes with what you said earlier about Super Smash Brothers. The gamers who played Metroid, back then, 1980, I think it's 1986, and they completed it, and they realized that Samus was a girl or a female. They were like shocked, but
That was a big thing in the 80s. That was huge.
yeah, but for us, or many others who played Super Smash Brothers Melee for the first time and saw her, switch over, you're like, what? She, it's Samus is a girl type of thing. I mean, you could probably checked it too on the N64 version as well, but
Mhm.
to see that transformation, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that Metroid has had such a history, and a lot of people are still, you know, it's their first game. It's their first time seeing Metroid and seeing advertisements Metroid Dread, and they're like, what is this? What's Metroid Dread? Why are people so excited? They do the research and they're like, okay, this actually looks pretty cool, and
This is awesome. Okay, this is
yeah,
pretty awesome. I think I'm gonna try it out. I think
and
it sounds good.
and most likely they have a Switch which already has Metroid and Super Metroid, but I really
Yes.
do wish they would put Fusion and the 3DS remake, the Metroid Return of Samus. I wish they were to put something like that together. I
Come
think it
on,
definitely deserves
Nintendo.
it.
Come on, Nintendo. You already stopped things about the 3DS, okay? You already told us you're not making any more. You're not doing any more. So you gotta transfer these things over somehow. You gotta make it work.
But I'm excited. I'm really excited for Metroid Dread. I said it before. Like I played so many games this year. Resident Evil, near Replicant, and thinking about Metroid. I feel like Metroid is gonna be my game of the year. I feel like once October comes, it's gonna be in the game of the year discussion in terms of quality, revival of a quote unquote dead franchise. I really do hope this is the beginning of a longer stretch because we've been starving for Metroid games. I mean we've gotten all the other ones. Hollow Knight, definitely recommend. We've
Yes.
gotten the Guacamelee. I also highly
Oh,
recommend that game.
I love that game.
So many, Metroidvania games, but no Metroid and no Castlevania games. So hopefully this is, the start of it.
The one that began this trend of everything is the one that's not having any additional games. Huh? What? How does that make sense? How does this make sense? There's so many different areas of there's so many different other games coming out. Like you said, Guacamelee, which I found out because it was free at first at some kind of one of the sites. I believe it was the Xbox, but I purchased the whole thing. Guacamelee was so much fun. I love that game. That was that. Oh my goodness, it was so funny and so lighthearted, but at the same time serious at certain points. But the story was amazing, and yes, that's the style of game it is, Metroidvania, and then like Castlevania for the longest time, like there has been some 2D side scrollers for Castlevania, or they're remaking those. But after Symphony of the Night came, after Symphony of the Night came out, almost every Castlevania game after that became like a Metroidvania style. That's the one that was the most successful. So they're like, yeah, we're gonna keep doing that style. That's the best one that came out.
Yeah. And if you guys haven't tried Guacamelee, I highly recommend it. Look up some videos. It's really good. If you love uh, Metroidvania games and you love Nacho Libre, you'll love this game. You'll absolutely fall in love with the art style, the characters, and the combat. So highly recommend looking that one up. It's really good. There's two of them, and I think it's available on all platforms: PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and Switch. So
Yes, it's
look that
it's
one up.
awesome. We threw in some guacamole in there. We put some guac on top of the Metroid conversation. Little extra, okay? And it might cost extra, but it's worth it. It's gonna cost extra, but it's really good. You will not be disappointed by guacamole. And there's a
Well,
lot of bonus content too. I mean, you could beat
yeah,
it fast. You could beat it quick if you want. If you want to just go straight at it, but the collectibles, collecting everything again gets you more endings, more rooms, and right now most of these games come out with the super deluxe. There's a long name for the super deluxe version of it.
Super
I forget.
Ultra Deluxe Championship Edition or something like that.
Yeah, but it includes everything all together on it. So, um, I will second that. I will second that, Josh. Get that game. Get that one.
And if guacamole was the guac to this podcast, the main course, the main dish, the steak of this topic today is Halo. Halo Infinite getting its final release date of December 8th, 2021.
Campaign and multiplayer.
Campaign and multiplayer, but to be specific, also multiplayer will be free for everybody on Xbox and PC. So,
Yes.
in case you're not so keen on single player, if you're like, you know what, I'll just play the single player later and I just want to focus on Halo, you don't have to pay anything. It's free. It's free to play, it's free to enjoy. So, they finally released the release date of December 8th. And that's, like you said, for both campaign and multiplayer. Jesse, what are you most excited about on that release date?
I'm actually very excited for the multiplayer portion of it itself because right now free multiplayer games are coming out left and right, like Warzone, Fortnite at the time, and Apex Legends. A lot of games need like a free multiplayer version. I think that's just with the times today. So I'm really glad Halo decided to take that route as well. That at least the multiplayer version of it will be free if you like. Now they could maybe have some extra things on the paid version, but at least offering the free version is awesome. And if it's just as good as the game itself, then hands on, go for it. I was actually like looking up to make sure my PC can run this game because I was looking at the recommended specs and everything because I don't know if I'm gonna have the Xbox by that time, but I'm just making sure like, all right, computer, you can run this, right? And I'm like, okay, good. I'm at least making it to the recommended system specs at least, so that's always good. But I'm very excited for the version here, and here I'm gonna call it right now. I don't have any proof of it or anything, but I believe that if you know this is true or not, please chime in. But I'm pretty sure Halo Infinite is gonna release with like a Warzone type mode. I bet, like 100-man Royale, because that's just the thing that's in now. That's what everyone likes to play. Besides the usual death matches, capture the flag, they're gonna have a battle royale version of Halo, which is great. People could be grapple hooking around, and if the maps are big enough to do it, that would be great. But I'm also a fan of the multiplayers from back then of deathmatch and capture the flag and King of the Hill. I'm ready for all those modes again. And if it's free, that means more of my friends get to have it, more people get to have it, more people get to play without a wall. Now, here's my other question: is Xbox Gold gonna be needed to access this, or is it just free completely?
It's completely free. So I don't know if you remember this year, uh, Microsoft kind of fumbled a bit and came out with saying like that Xbox Live Gold would be 120 dollars for the year, basically
Ooh.
doubling the current price structure. And there was a lot of fans, rightfully so, that came out and spoke against it. Xbox and PlayStation people were like, "This is kind of garbage. What are you guys doing? This is extreme." And luckily, Phil Spencer had come out that same day within hours and said, "Hey, you know what? Yeah, we fucked up. We messed up, and we got to turn that back. We gotta change that." So along with changing it back to $60 per year, they also implemented that you no longer need Xbox Live Gold to play free to play games. You don't need Xbox Live Gold to play Apex Legends, to play Warzone, to play Halo Infinite. That's all free. So literally Halo Infinite multiplayer will be free no matter what. No matter what. If you're on Xbox, you don't need, Xbox Live Gold. You're good. So
Perfect. Good.
that
Very, very good.
so Xbox, a lot of good news this year. A lot of good hype and pushing out Halo Infinite. I was actually very concerned about the state of where the game was. I didn't know if they're gonna be able to launch it. Whenever they said, and I'm still skeptical about that December 8th launch day. I don't know what they're gonna be delivering that day in terms of if it'll be a complete package or if it'll be one of those like, hey, you know what, this is gonna be where we're at day one, but stick with us, 3 months down the line, 6 months down the line, because we're gonna just keep adding stuff to it. It may just be that. So I may have to temper expectations on the single player portion because that's where I'm excited. As excited as I get for multiplayer, the single player campaign is what drives me with Halo. What I loved about the Halo series. I loved Halo One. Um, Blasphemy me again, but I'm kind of not into Halo Two. The portion,
Dun dun
story
dun.
portion. But Halo One, Halo Three, Reach, ODST. Those are such like one of my favorite first person shooter campaigns ever. The stories that they told within that campaign, on each of them, I feel like they're so unique, so different, especially ODST and Reach. They're so like dire, so dark in the tone and atmosphere compared to, there's darker tones in Halo 3 and Halo 1, but it's still not as dark. I feel not as gritty as ODST and Reach. But that's what I'm looking forward to on Halo, December 8th. I want to see what 343 brings to the table on the story front, because that's what I disliked about Halo 5. I did not like Halo 5 story at all. I feel like that's the weakest uh, entry in all of the Halo games in terms of story. Even weaker than Halo 2 for me.
That was the bait and switch one right there.
Yeah.
You put so many trailers with Master Chief, and then you introduce a new character, only to have us play the new character more than Master Chief.
Yeah,
At least for Halo 5.
I just did not like it. But everything else looks good. I didn't play the multiplayer, the first flight, I think it's called. For it was like the alpha or pre-alpha multiplayer on Halo Infinite. But from what I saw online, a lot of people were loving the gameplay, the mechanics that they're bringing. That's what I got excited about. Did you see any of the gameplay or hear anything about it?
I haven't seen the most recent of the gameplays for the multiplayer, but when they announced it last year, and they showed us some multiplayer footage then, which it showed like the grappling hook to go with everything, that looked sweet. And it reminded me of the Doom Eternal grappling hook as well. So, like, grappling hook is just going to be the thing to get you around everywhere nowadays. But Halo action itself, because even Halo 5 for its story fumblings, I did like the multiplayer a lot on my Xbox One when
Yeah.
I was playing it, and it introduced the sprinting mechanic. Or excuse me, that one was introduced in 4, was it? Was the sprinting introduced in 4 or 5?
Well, I mean, depending on how you see it, I think sprinting was brought in during Halo Reach because of the power
Oh, okay.
armor, upgrade, whatever. You can choose that as a power as opposed to like an armor lock or invisibility. So
Oh.
you can essentially run in Halo Reach. That's where it originated, but to actually run no matter what your, character you're using or,
Mhm.
armor customization, yeah, that was in Reach.
Oh, okay, so see, I didn't play Reach. So when I got it in 4 and 5, then sprinting and everything was starting to get included, and that's also the sprinting that was introduced in the Call of Duty games previously, because that's when like Modern Warfare was coming out
Yeah.
at those times. So sprinting became something that was needed. When I was back in the days, multiplayer Halos 1, 2, and 3, no sprinting. Whatever pace you're going at is what you're going at. You jumped around to avoid shots, and you jumped around to do what you needed to do. But for the multiplayer itself, I am ready, because if it starts to become more similar to Halo multiplayer itself is just great. I'm already imagining again the battle rifle sounds, and I'm imagining the battle rifle all the way to the end. Do you like the assault rifle, or do you like the battle rifle? Do you want to be more precise, or do you want to have the spray? I miss sticking grenades on people as before, so that's gonna be fun again. Um, I miss the sword. I miss my sword and the brute hammer, of course. Let's see how much of everything they bring into the multiplayer. If they try to bring it back to more of what Halo, the first Halo games looked like, man, that would be the sweet multiplayer for Halo. I would love it.
I miss the announcer. Just announcing stuff. Just like, unfreaking believable. Like,
Doable.
those are all iconic, just, and then even just the sounds, like we probably take those for granted, but if you hear that sound in the background, the boop boop boop,
Right?
like, you're
And
about to, play something good, you're about to get into some business for the next 10-15 minutes, and
oh,
those are the sounds that I miss. Those are the sounds that I miss hearing in the background, just hyping you up again, double kill,
double kill,
triple.
triple kill. That's when you hear all the time with the battle rifle, and then when you get stuck by the plasma,
Yeah, you're
you
like,
already hear this. It's
damn,
like, oh,
he
when you get
got
stuck,
me.
you're all like, and then you can't do nothing because you're dead. You can't do anything. And then when the sword comes out, you're like, oh, dude. like run, and then if you were skilled enough, you could still get them before you get the
Yeah.
sword strike. And I'm remembering the maps of Halo 3. Oh, the sniper rifle is actually the worst. the the sniper rifle. Uh, I forget the name of the map in Halo 3, but it was like the warehouse looking one with all the crates, the shipping crates all over
Oh,
the
I know
place.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's obviously the very popular the beach setting one that was on Halo 3 as well that had like the little nook the little nook of like a hidden area you can hide in, but it also had like a
The huge
bridge.
fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and then every multiplayer match is always fun and there was always a curse here, a kill here. It's just it's so good. A lot of we've been so saturated right now with so many other first person shooters. Everything is very militarized. Like right now, I'm not knocking on Call of Duty that much, but a lot of times, a lot of Call of Duties to me are starting to become just similar with a little bit more coat of paint here, a little addition here and there, a little extra, but Halo comes in as like a breath of fresh air in the FPS genre, in my
Yeah.
opinion. It's gonna be different. It's space related combat. It's Master Chief. It's the Spartan. It's the non-Spartan combatants. It's another multiplayer. It's something that I get excited again to replay over and over. And like yeah, I've gotten Call of Duties again before over and over again, but how many times can you do military shooters? Just saying, how many times can you do that? If you love it, you love it. But I need a breath of fresh air, and Halo is gonna be that when it comes out. This is gonna be. Man, I'm not gonna lie. I know you mentioned Metroid was the one that you feel is gonna be the game of the year. I don't know, man. Halo for the multiplayer itself. I think Halo is good. I think because people are waiting for this Xbox release so bad. They want Halo. Halo is the one that they are chomping at the bits for. And I hope that they're able to develop a huge, complete, as best complete game as possible. But I know they're rushed. I know that the development team is getting put on by Microsoft. We need to release this by 2021 holiday season. We got to sell copies. We got to sell this. And they're like, but we can't, sir. We want to be able to make a complete game. It's like, oh, well, that doesn't sound like it's going to sell great in the holidays. If you sell it after the holidays, now does it? So they're getting huge bits and bits of pressure from everywhere. But I'm praying that 343 is able to do this. Because the last time I had an incomplete game, which was Street Fighter 5, bought it for $60.
Oof.
You get nothing. You get so little.
You got
There
nothing,
was,
dude.
yeah, you get a couple of characters. You get a survival mode. You don't even get a full blown arcade mode. All this stuff was patched in later. We're gonna turn it in later. No, I personally hate that. I don't like that because you're making me spend the $60, but you're promising me things. It's like me turning in homework to someone. I only did a third of it, be like, oh, don't worry, the rest of it's coming. I'm guaranteeing you the rest of it's coming. It's like it's nuts. Like, but we time crunches and people demand. But I'm hearing all the complaints and everything about it. I'm hearing about complaints, the pressure from one side, the pressure from the other side. Game developing doesn't sound like an easy job. It never. I never said it was, but it doesn't sound like one, and it's rough. So sometimes when you're really upset at some things, then if you're really upset at some things about the gaming community and everything, sometimes you got to think for a second about the pressure they're going through as well. So there's always both sides to every story. So just do not botch this like Master Chief Collection when it first came out, where it was an online mess. So that's my 2 cents on Halo. I want it to be stupendous when it comes out. I'm praying that it is.
Yeah, I think that's both of us. We want Halo Infinite to be a landmark in this gen so early. I want it to succeed. I want everybody just to be Halo 3 days where it was just this is what first person shooter is. This is what we buy an Xbox for. This is why we play, this type of game. So, I think I speak for both of us. We send out all the good wishes to the devs, to the studios. I hope we get a really good, solid release, a solid multiplayer and single player. There's always going to be issues. There's going to be issues that same day we
Yeah.
may have server issues or something like that. But I believe that stuff can get ironed out. But I truly believe that from all the stuff that I've read and heard and seen from other people, this is going to be a really good release. This is going to be a solid multiplayer. The campaign is still, we haven't really seen much of it, but I'm hopeful. I want Halo Infinite to be the best game possible, and I hope it's successful. I hope it is, one of those Halo games that does put 343 Industries on the map with other Bungie made Halo games.
Yes, 343. You got your chance. You can do this. You got another crack at it. Let's go. You guys can do something about it.
Well, that was our show. That's our episode for this week. It's a shorter episode, but we just wanted to focus on two main games for the week, which is Metroid Dread and Halo Infinite. Both have received updates and trailers this week.
Outer
Um,
space, baby. That was the theme.
this
If
was a
I
space episode, yeah.
this is all space. If I was a meme right now, I would do that Tim Curry expression when he goes space. The final frontier, the final area to go to, space. Which we're obviously trying to do a lot. Well, the
Yeah.
billionaires, they're trying to get up into space right now. So yeah, I don't blame them. Space is space. So yeah, shorter and sweeter, space related all day. And I made you a Quake fan. You're welcome.
Well, thank you for joining us, everyone. Thank you, Jesse, for joining us and
Thank you,
co-hosting.
everybody.
Um,
Please follow me if you like on Twitter, Jesse_Fergoso.
and I am McQuack306 at Twitter and Instagram, I believe. I'm not really much Instagram, but on Twitter you can find me there. That's where
Ooh.
I'm mostly active. But thank you again for joining us this week. Leave a comment on what you feel about Halo Infinite. What are you most excited for? Is it the multiplayer? Is it the campaign? Is it just both? You just want Halo already? Let us know, and let us know if you tried Quake on either console, whatever platform you're on, and see
Yes.
if you agree with my first impressions on. Yeah, it's just a better Doom.
Yes, please let us know what you think about Quake, and I would love to hear any suggestions or any ideas that you had from it. Let us know if you've been always a Metroid fan. Did you learn about Samus from Smash Brothers? Are you excited about Samus coming back in a new game? Always appreciate it again to hear any feedback or comments, or even just say hi. I'm good with just say hi too.
Yeah, and we did get just real quick final thought. We did get a nice Twitter message this week in regards to our previous episodes, and I just want to thank you. Any comment that we see on the YouTube page or even on Twitter where you can follow us, it does mean a lot to us. It does continue to push us to just deliver a better product for you guys. It's just two guys talking about games. We do this all the time on Twitter or wherever we're at with friends, but we're trying to deliver something for you guys too. And just Twitter on at Sixers Octavian. Thank you so much for the feedback. We are working on getting these episodes on podcasts. Hopefully, it'll be on this episode or next. But you'll know at the beginning of the episode once we got that ironed out. So thank you again for the comments, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you everybody for listening today. Again, follow us at our Twitter handles. I'm actually a little bit more on Instagram as well. So that one is just my name with a period. So Jesse.Fergoso on Instagram, underscore on Twitter. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for all the comments, for listening. We enjoy just talking to you guys every evening or day, whatever time you're listening. And I'm having a blast. I hope you guys are having a blast listening. And thank you so much again for listening, guys. You guys are the best.
All right, stay safe, you guys. Thank you.
Peace.